Welcome, everyone, to Astrology and Crime. We are talking today about Jay-Z and the allegations against him. A civil lawsuit dropped. It dropped first in October, which we predicted. And you can go back to our Diddy predictions and you can see the Jay-Z chart that I drew. We're going to continue along on that. And welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Nadia, nice to see you. Shawn, Diddy, Combs, and Jay-Z are accused in a civil lawsuit of assaulting a 13-year-old girl at an after party for the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. And prior to the alleged incident, the victim claimed Combs uttered chilling words that have stuck with her to this day. A woman identified only as Jane Doe alleges she was assaulted by Combs, now 55, and Jay-Z, whose real name is Shawn Carter, also now 55, while an unnamed female celebrity watched during the party in a New York City residence. That's what everybody's talking about right now. Who was that unnamed female celebrity in the room as this person was assaulted, this minor was assaulted? The initial complaint did not reference Jay-Z by name, and it was filed in October, as I said. According to the complaint, the accuser was invited to the after party by a limousine driver who claimed to work for Combs and told her that the mogul liked younger girls and, quote, fit what Diddy was looking for. Prior to this, she claimed she'd been trying to get into the VMAs by standing outside of Radio City Music Hall and walking up to limousines that were bringing guests into the venue. Now, why a 13-year-old would be allowed to do such a thing, that's probably a whole other story. The plaintiff, who was 13 at the time of the alleged incident, said that when she arrived at the after party, she was asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement and was later given a drink that she believes was drugged, the complaint alleges. The plaintiff said that she was later approached by Combs, who had a crazed look in his eyes, not hard to believe, and who allegedly told her, "You are ready to party," probably with the words that she remembers. The amended complaint was filed on Sunday, December 8th, and named Jay-Z, who defended himself against the allegations in a statement shared on X. That was a pretty lengthy one. Now, what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to read Jay-Z's solar return prediction. If you're interested in solar return lessons, I am dropping some lessons for the valedictorians tomorrow. And all through the next 7 to 10 days, you're going to be getting little solar return lessons just to help you in your life and understand what's coming up. So I hope that helps. Little holiday gift from me to the valedictorians. We're going to be able to tell who it was because they're probably going to be in damage control in the next few days. Met, nice to see you. Hello from Norway. You notice that I have my background is, the party. And it seems like everything was aesthetically perfect in this kind of crazy scenario where there were alleged predators at play. Yeah, I know, Angel. Finally, we're seeing this come to light. The chart's been showing king and queen for so long. You know who that is, in my opinion. And of course, we have the twins, Shawn Carter, Shawn Combs, SC, the initials. Now, Meg, you said, is the NDA that she signed even enforceable since she was underage? Yeah, probably not. In this day and age, NDAs are kind of weak, I think. If you're interested in the earlier predictions that I made, go to the Diddy Aftermath and scroll through, go to Jay-Z, and you'll see that I had gone through his 2023 solar return prediction, which looked like this and really plays out the months when things would go awry for Jay-Z as well as his wife and family. He was born in December. So in the solar return chart, as many of you know, you're going to start on the birthday. So December 4th, and that was last year. So December, January, February, March was, I believe this was the raid of Shawn Combs. And then I believe the 10th house was when Shawn Combs was arrested. We had said that October would be a very big month. Why did we say that? And it was because that's when the lawsuit dropped for him initially. The moon here. The moon here is conjunct Black Moon Lilith. And not only that, but there's a big, big T-square here. That kind of stops your year. It makes you, Saturn, depressed, makes you afraid. Saturn is going to, it doesn't matter how rich you are, how powerful you are, there are things that are going to make you feel afraid. It's very possible that that did in October for Jay-Z. Basically he just had his birthday. So the past probably 5 or 6 weeks, he was in this T square. So now we're going to move forward and see what's ahead. And just to explain to you, in your own solar return chart, when you look at it, you're going to look for the T squares. These are the parts that are extremely stressful and can show fear, can show something is trying to stop something that you're doing. In the sixth house, it could be work for Shawn Carter. It could be like, look, everything stops, the sponsorships, the all of that money. Maybe there's projects that are work projects. We got to take a break here because we got to deal with this lawsuit. That's possibly what's happening here. Mars is part of that. And another thing about T squares is you want to see who's the cause of it. And Mars, it looks like, is the cause. So where would that be? We'd have to go to the eighth house. Somebody's angry. That's for sure. Somebody is angry. Eighth house can be the secret, the sex secret maybe. And also keeping in mind, Mars in Sag is somebody who might be younger, could even be somebody from that has a foreign descent or a foreign name. Sag also means American too, but certainly somebody who is very, very angry, and but in a way that is with you when you see the moon squaring Mars in your chart. This is kind of abusive language, possibly maybe from associates or lawyers or something like that. So this is the solar return chart for Shawn Carter. He started this December 4th. I have his birthday because you got to put your birthday location in. And I just put Los Angeles because that's where they live. I'm not sure exactly where they were, so that'd be important to know. Nora, you dark Scorpio girls, maybe why I'm y'all here for the darkness. I know we gotta research it. We want to look at it. 22 degrees, right? Okay, I definitely need Val's help. I'm a Scorpio with Black Moon Lilith and Scorpio at my birth time. Shows very attractive people, so you got that on your side. Nearby Oslo, okay. Yes, my family lives near Sandefjord. This looks like a mess, doesn't it? But this is typical for a solar return chart. We're just talking about Scorpio. He's a Scorpio rising. If he had his birthday in Los Angeles this year, which was just a few days ago. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at where Scorpio is. Scorpio is, thankfully for Shawn, it is not retrograde this year. It is at 0 degrees. It's pretty strong. And generally, you're going to see that when Venus is next to you, when it's your rising sign, it usually shows there's some luck, there's love, there is a lot of support. And so he has that on his side to some extent. So we're going to look at the months here. And so this would be December 4th to January 4th, January to February 4th, right here, and so on. The months that show the ninth house are going to be really important when you're talking about court cases. Of course, the ninth house is the court case, and you've got somebody in there fighting. This is a bully. There's a big bully here. Mars could also represent, it's the traditional ruler of Scorpio, so he's in there. Jay-Z is in the court fighting. It looks like a lot of bullying. You've already seen that too. It's so funny. Mars means a bee. It means a stinger. And so the accuser's lawyer is called Busby. So they're hammering. I mean, it's a war here. You can see a war. And it really takes on epic proportions right around January 4th to February 4th. This is probably going to be maybe the first week of February. Just a ton of fighting. There's a ton of fighting. What one might say to Shawn Carter is that you're going to want to fight something in court really pretty bad. You're going to want to bully. But no matter what you do, you're not going to be successful, at least in this time period. It doesn't look like the other side is successful either. So you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket right around early February because it doesn't seem like anybody's winning here, at least in this time frame. And of course, it's in the second house of finances. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look a little bit more along the lines of what's going to be good for him this year, what is he's going to want to stay away from, and then we're going to look at JLo's chart, her prediction too. I know it's kind of like, who's got that black moon Lilith is Marilyn Monroe. You have Megan Fox. For it's a smoldering look when it's in good aspect. The numerology expert, this Luigi stuff went down on December 4th. Now Jay-Z is trending. When is his birthday? December 4th. Well done. Yeah. Jay's from Brooklyn. Yeah, he's from Brooklyn. With the solar return, we want to get him where he is on his last birthday. So that's why I plugged in Los Angeles. All right. So we're going to look at this for a little bit, see what we can see. And then we're going to move on to JLo. Here's the thing with these charts. You've got to look at the Lord to see how the house is going to do that year. So let's see what February looks like. And why does my eye go to that? I always look at Aquarius. I want to see the shock. I want to see it right away. What's going to be the shock of the year? And so we're going to look at Uranus. So where is Uranus? Uranus is here. And it's in the sixth house of health. And also, keep in mind, it's the third house. So it's what's on your mind. I'm afraid to say that sometimes Aquarius can mean a divorce. Sometimes it can mean a big change. He is thinking of how something is going to change. Now, there are pros and cons. With it being right on the seventh house here, I mean, within a few degrees, there is a possibility. And it might come in, right in February. There could be talk of divorce. However, there are some nice things here. There's so much money coming in from whatever pursuits that both the couple has. It looks like that's going to be, that's going to help a lot. So, there could be some weighing back and forth of pros and cons, but so if I were to see something like this, I would say it's a good chance that you could work it out. Of course, Beyonce is thinking about saving her brand and if it's going to affect her brand. They don't really know yet. It's a little too early. Keeping in mind that right at the end of January, you're going to look at the chart ruler here, which is Pluto. And we've got a big square to part of fortune in Libra. This is a relationship. This is a friend. This is a bad friend. This is a rapist. I'm afraid to say, and I don't like to say that word, I'm going to say abuser. But this is, people are seeing him. The ascendant is how people see you that year or how people are calling you, what your quote unquote name is. And he's having to deal with a lot of people using that word. Yeah. And it's definitely coming from Busby here and whoever else is fighting him in court. The good thing, though, is that he is able to do something that is like futuristic this year. The reason I say that is because if you, in your solar return chart, have Uranus in a sextile or a trine, this means that you potentially, high chance, you're working on something that is beneficial for the future. You are a visionary of something. So as all of this is going on, all of the bullying, the toxic exchanges back and forth between lawyers and the salaciousness of it, he's doing something, and I think it has to do with his alcohol brand that he has with Beyonce there. That's Neptune. So it could be weed, could be, maybe unveiling something here in the fourth house, the apex of this, probably around March, probably the first week of March. There's something that is coming out that is online, could be something that distracts. But remember, Neptune also represents photos and a video. He's going to take that king approach, which is often what we see with the royal family. They just throw a photo, they throw out a video, and it's like, all right, see, we're fine. So that looks like it might be in play here. Let's look at the accuser. The accuser I chose, and you could see me working this out on Instagram at Val Evans Astro if you want to follow me. And I posted this morning, which is this opposition here. You've got the accuser right here. How do I pick an accuser? Well, it depends on the age. Like if you have somebody coming after you in court, well, think about who he is, who she is. Is it Venus? Is it a woman? Is it Mars? Is it a man? Is it your old man Jones next door who's your neighbor? That's going to be Saturn. Saturn mean old. So here we have Jupiter because at the time, 13 years old, this is someone who was around that age between probably 6 and 15 is usually what I assign for Jupiter, give or take. So the Jupiter retrograde is somebody who either was incapacitated, was wounded. I mean, you can see this accuser here, and you can see a very positive rectangle. This is positive, and it looks like this person is gaining something, maybe some kind of healing. Maybe they're saying the word healing, and somehow they are successful in some way, shape, or form, especially successful with the 11th house of social media. Yet you have this red line across this, and this shows that the person does not want to speak. Mercury. Mercury retrograde is something from the past that they want to talk, that is basically on the table. It happens to be in the first house of Jay-Z. So people are talking all about what's going on here. The sun represents the court. Notice that the seventh house is in Medusa territory, which would be Taurus 26 degrees. This is somebody you don't mess with. You don't mess with Medusa. And it happens to be his partner. So we would look at Venus here. Venus is making a ton of money over here with Venus and Pluto. They are together. This is Beyonce right next to Jay-Z. They are sticking together. The more they stick together, the more they make money, which is in the second house. They are sticking together. They are battening down the hatches, but they are in a big war. And why would you say that it's such a big war? Well, because not only do you have Mars in an opposition here, but you've got Pluto, which is pretty big. This is a lot of revenge. This is a lot of betrayal. Could we see who the famous person is that's in this lawsuit? We're talking a lot about the home this year. This, I think, is probably Shawn, the 11th house of friends. And so we would look at Shawn's home, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4. This is Shawn. I'm sorry, P. Diddy's, Shawn Combs' home right here. So this is the site. I circled the second house. This is the site of the alleged crime. And you've got Venus here, got Moon in there, which is a famous woman. And it looks like it's going to be a big shock. Looks like it's going to be a big shock. Venus in Capricorn could be an older woman, could be a dark-skinned woman, being the celebrity that was in, allegedly, that party in that back room, because you can see that there is a mini grand trine here. Neptune is the bed. Neptune is drugs. Yeah, so they had access to that. Definitely with Pluto next to Venus. Pluto represents revenge. So there's a revenge on some of these that's taking place here. Did it actually happen? Whether it did or not, this year is going to be very painful for this person. You've got Chiron here, and this is a lot of wounds. This person looks pretty famous. They might have tattoos. They might have a scar somewhere. Who is this person? A lot of people are saying the obvious because of that time. It's not too hard to figure it out. You've been mentioning it in the chat. But there is a way, it looks like they're going to be able to recover from it, but it looks like a bloody mess, let's just say that, from a war standpoint. There aren't many women that Diddy and Jay-Z would trust to be in that room. Oh, thank you, Kay. We do need 100 likes. And the more likes I get, the more I put on our channel. So, really helps me out. I have Jupiter retrograde in the seventh house. You could look at that. It might be hard with relationships, but also look at the seventh house Lord. That's really going to give you some indicator about partnerships. But keep in mind, seventh house is also employment contracts too. So if you want to find out about that, it's the same house as the partner. Thank you, Christine. Yeah, Jay-Z can't settle with one because there will end up being dozens of allegations, in my opinion. Okay, so he's got the NFL contract. So that's sports. We could look into that. Thank you, Christine. Great. That's it. That's the word for Black Moon Lilith. Jayla will settle with victims before ruining her image. If it was her, don't think it's her. Um, I don't think she'd do that. I really don't. Not from the Bronx. Not a woman from the Bronx. I mean, when is this going to end? Here's the problem. You always want to look at part of fortune. This is your fortune. This year you're going to be able to tell if you consider this year a success. And I think that there are going to be a few months where he's going to be pretty happy. But overall, it's going to be a year that he wants to forget. And that's why you've got the reason for that is because of the courts here. The courts and the press. We have a lot of bullying with the press too. And they're making it so that his chances of success in doing certain things is minimal. So it's a small chance of big successes this year. And when we're talking about contracts, we're going to look at the seventh house. You'd think it would be the sixth because that's the work, but Venus represents the contract and it's there with Pluto. This is a ton of money. The fifth house is Mars. Yeah. It looks like it stops this contract somehow. The NFL contract likely won't go through because the fifth house is sports, seventh house is contract. We've got that all in here with a T square with part of fortune at 29 degrees, which is very, very weak. So what will happen? Looks like he's going to change somehow, and it might close. Like it really looks bad for him January 4th to February 4th. But then things change. And this is another contract with a lot of money. And it's very possible it could have, his good months, really. It's a mixed bag for January 4th to February 4th. But still, it looks like something is in the works that'll come in and kind of fill the void. Does it look like there's a lot of success for the accuser? Now, keeping in mind, we're talking about a bunch of accusers. Gemini is a group of accusers, a group of young people, Jupiter, from the past, retrograde. And you could see this T square here. You got to look for the T squares to see who's having problems. And it seems as if the whole thing kind of comes to a halt to some extent, and that's going to be December, January, February, March. So that'll be March 4th to April 4th. It just stops. Now, coming back up here, you might have some more people. So more people coming in, got to pay them off. But the main one, it looks like it's not going to work for the most part. But then you have Black Moon Lilith here. And I don't know who that is. Could there be a politician involved here? I think we might be seeing a politician who is kind of shady and might have actually been at that party at that time frame. We'd have to look at the second house because that's the party. And I think so. I think we're going to hear something about politics because Libra represents politics. Oh, we're going to get some shocks, that's for sure. And what is going to show that you have a shock, like right at your birthday? I've had this. It's no fun. Uranus. Uranus is the shock in a red line to your ascendant. This is your first birthday month. Happy birthday. And it happened within days of his birthday. People do. People use anniversaries. People use birthdays. Scorpio is revenge. So this is kind of like a snap event that has to do with revenge. Everybody has BML in their birth chart, but in a certain aspect, especially along the cardinal houses, you could be very good at keeping secrets. And unless it maybe aspects Uranus, you might shock people with secrets. So, oh, happy birthday, Nora. And yeah, we'll have to have a little virtual party for you. You've been dumped on your birthday by text. Ugh, sometimes I don't know how it happens to some of us, but we attract just the worst. Yeah, it's funny. We got the tower for Hannah, and we had the tower for Luigi. So it was kind of like soon this whole thing is going to end. I'm going to be on. It was actually 10 o'clock Eastern tonight, 9 p.m. Central. I know, so embarrassing. I can't imagine how many videos and photos are out there of these parties over the years. A lot of people are keeping quiet. And it's kind of a weak case. You can see Jupiter opposing Mercury, but they know that they just use social media to their advantage, and it's the court of public opinion. So that's kind of how it transforms. And it does seem like these parties do get some kind of healing because that Chiron there, and that it's kind of a shady way. Some of the practices are pretty shady, but it seems like they get what they want and they go away. This is the transit chart for Jay-Z. This is right now, and check out how you've got Uranus going through his ninth house of court. And there's a square to Mars. This is a court fight, and it's a shock. It's a shock. So he's going to have to wait until, Uranus gets out of the Medusa area of Taurus, and it's going to have to move over into Gemini a little bit, but it's really rearing its ugly head. Here's the thing with Pluto here. This is kind of like the pass, the way to work with that terrible Uranus shocking energy. And this is, so what we would do is we're like, okay, well, what do we do here? What does Pluto represent? So we'd look at the third house. So something's helping from a third house perspective. It is writing letters and putting them on social media, I suppose. Third house in Scorpio is thinking about Scorpio matters at all times. Also hitting back with that revenge letter that he just posted. But yeah, at the moment we have Neptune here it's opposing Uranus. Third house is sister, brother, uncles, cousins, neighbors. So he might be having a neighbor problem too. There's some neighborhood issues that are going on. But if you want to get back to basics, you just look to if you're looking at your transit chart, you're going to look to the chart ruler, and that's going to be Mercury right here. And it is sextiling Mars. That represents a man. It represents males on could be data scientists. They're going back to as far as they can to collect data. There's a lot of collecting data, thinking about data. I don't know, DNA, maybe DNA. But Mercury doesn't look terrible at this point. The chart ruler. We'll look at his partner, who is Neptune. And got a Neptune trine Neptune, photos, video, alcohol brand, and doesn't look terrible to me. Probably having some hard time behind the scenes, but this looks okay to me. And then also so much money. So they're literally raking it in from all of that, hard liquor brand. That they're just it's almost like they're kind of influenced or high from the success of that. So that's part of his chart there. I know, Carmen. Yeah, we looked at it a little bit in the Diddy show. I'll never understand these men who apparently like men, but will mentally abuse beautiful women. It's like a competition or something. I know. Chiron is involved with Diddy's chart. He just, if that energy comes towards him, which is might be beautiful, might be feminine, whatever, there just is this need to be abusive. Yeah, mother issues, possibly. Okay, that's a good point. They'll probably have to transfer a lot of digital files. Hmm. I know. They're probably relieved there were no smartphones back then. I'm sure somebody's going to come out with a video. Okay, thank God Hannah is safe. Oh, thank God. And we saw that too because part of fortune was aspecting Hannah. So it looked like she could get out of it. I guess we're going to hear the whole story today or tomorrow. All right. This is JLo. And this is JLo's solar return, her prediction. And this is her chart ruler, Venus, in the queen sign of Leo. So she's the queen this year. She started this in, let's see. So this was, I think, was it July that she had her birthday? I had it somewhere around here. Let me just double check. July 24th, 1969, 5:49 a.m. And all right, so that would be, so she starts her chart July 24th. So we are going to go to present day. I showed you February here, but so we're going to go July 24th to August 24th, September 24th, October, November. So she's in here right now. And this is so typical of all of our charts. When you see Saturn and there is a square to something, this is being scared. There's a fear. There's definitely a fear here. This is in the fifth house. This is a depression of the family. You know, it's around the holidays. You're going to feel low. You're just going to feel low. And this is Jupiter, which can show the twins. So might be scared of the twins, whoever they are. They are eighth house, you know, they're the rapists, they're the perps. And it can also represent the husband. So she might not want to even talk because there's Gemini there, Gemini, Jupiter, husband or partner or ex partner. In Gemini is to speak. And she's like, don't even think about it. Do not even talk to me right now. Um, so that's possibly what is going on at the moment. So this is going to end December 24th. Notice that Pisces is throughout here. So in her mind, or in her reality, her environment, all she's hearing about is pictures and videos and alcohol brands, which of course she has one too. And so there's all this Piscean energy. And also keeping in mind, when you see this, as of July, I don't think she knew. No, she knew as of March of this past year. But fifth house, if it's in a bad way, which it is, fifth house of family, and see that here, it shows family disappears. So it can mean something like they go off to see their father in another country. Shows a foreign family. So that's a clue of something, but definitely with Uranus right here, this is a shock. This is a total shock. And the moon being in Pisces, this is to your home. This is home and family. This is a divorce. So she's dealing with this divorce energy here. And Mercury, which is another twin. I mean, you've got a lot of twin stuff here. Her kids look okay to me, because of, like, her kids are Neptune right now. So they've got a blue little mini trine there. But you want to know who these people are. So let's look. Let's see who is the problem here. And it just came in this month, which would have been the fifth house. So the moon represents the government, the career. The career is Uranus is interrupted. And she's going to have this again. That's going to be February. So there's going to be another interruption. This looks like a big one. And this looks like it could have something to do with more shocking things that happen at that house. February is a mixed bag for her. It looks as if the devil is there. The sex devil, really, because the 8th house here. Lots of people fighting. And you've got Saturn part of that mix, which is, again, fear. She doesn't want to be this is terrible. She does not want to be anywhere near this. Let's look at the court. So the court is Gemini. We're over here. It looks like the court stops. It just suddenly, boom, it's done. It's interrupted. It's cut. And that's a good thing. Sometimes you want a T-square. So it looks like there's something that is just, I'm sorry to say that with Uranus and Mars together, that's a gunshot. So, and it doesn't look like talking about that is like, on the one hand, allowed. I don't think they're going to bring any of her old skeletons into the closet. Yet something positive's happening for her because you can see this blue little triangle. So something's happening there that is very successful. And this could be the sale of her house because the 8th house of real estate. So selling the dream home, I wish she wouldn't. I wish she would take it. And I wish she would charge Affleck with a convenience fee, as Mariah Carey did, because I think she deserves that house. But, what are you going to do? So all in all, it looks like she's the queen. It looks like, let me see, what is the reputation? The moon is the reputation this year. And so there's some shocks. It's not all year, but it's going to affect the holidays. 5th house is the holidays. And when you go on vacation. It's interesting how the 9th house is in Gemini, which is a court case. It could mean 2 court cases. But yet again, it just looks like, definitely shocks. That's what the red lines are. But in the end, it just seems as if, well, here's something. Here are the twins. This is the twin kings here. Both of them. Whoa, look at this. The twin kings completely shocked, which happened right on time. This was November 24th to December 24th. And, by November 24th, they knew what was going on. So they were in total shock. The kings are zapped. There's also some suicidal types of energy here. Uranus is suicide. So there's possible, reporting of someone potentially unaliving themselves. I don't think anybody in this inner circle here, but, it does look like a king is in shock. Crazy. So I get back to you guys on this. Carmen, the jump drive had Diddy's unreleased music on it, so I returned it, but now I wish I could have copied it. Oh, you had a drive? Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, everybody's all over him. Hey, Soda Pop. And, okay, so I used to do music and had a bad boy or manager. He left his jump drive in my car, and I knew then I couldn't trust him to manage me, but now I wish I would have checked to see what was all on it. So at Bad Boy Records, are you serious? Oh my God, we have a famous person here. Yeah, we used USB and drives. And then before that, floppy disks. Ben knows. What does he know? Angel, you're so funny. Yeah, MySpace days. Yeah. Oh, everybody's talking about your hair. Yeah, I know. You've got great hair. Leo. Leo. It's all about the hair. Toy, you had a Blackberry and jumped on stage with Snoop and his uncle. I danced the entire concert with his uncle, and Snoop would come over every few minutes. I had a blast sneaking in backstage and jumping up there. It's so funny. Kimberly found this late. I'm only at the beginning, but want to remind everyone that Aaliyah was only a preteen when those boys got to her. Married R. Kelly at 15. Gossip is Jay wanted her, and there was a riff. No doubt. Of course, this is your opinion only, and this is entertainment purposes only. But she was way too young. She was way too young. And okay. Yeah. So we've got quite a bit of stuff coming up. If you ever want to look at a predictive solar return chart and you're looking at something like that red line that JLo has this year, this is very difficult. It's going to show some of the things that you had to deal with. Pluto is feeling like you want to get revenge. You want to get back at somebody, and it would happen to anybody naturally. And so this is kind of like the fall. The sun is your ego. You want your ego in a good place. And so it looks like it just falls there. And so July, August, September, October, no, actually, it was August. I think this is when she filed for divorce. And why do I say August? Because the second house activated Pluto. So you want to look at that first. You want to look at the house that it activates before you actually get to the symbol or the planet. But sometimes you won't have a house. You have to go over here. And so the planet will activate first. It's whatever comes first, right? So this would have been between August 20, whatever, July. Yeah, to September. Very, very sad time, these two things. And keeping in mind, the ascendant in Libra, that's a marriage. So there's going to be a lot of, it's weird because not to get on JLo's prediction, because we could do that for another show, but Venus is her ruling planet. And yeah, Jupiter in Gemini is like, the second time it happened, the second maybe divorce, but it's possible he's going to come back to her. Because he's super depressed right now, it looks like. You could see that because of Saturn. You can find out anybody in your life who's depressed. You just look at Saturn and see if there's a red line. And this is Ben. So you're looking at somebody who either doesn't want to talk or is super depressed. Maybe Ben feels like the third wheel with his ex and her fiance. But then it comes around again. It's either going to be Ben or it's going to be somebody who looks like Ben. Could be her bodyguard, although he doesn't look anything like Ben. But there's a twin coming in, and it looks good. It looks happy for her. I would say it's probably in March, because this is going to be the end of February here. And you can also see on the 8th house, I probably shouldn't say this, but if you're going to be getting some, action, that's the 8th house, and it looks pretty good for her. But she's gonna have to wait a little bit, and then she's way up high in the 10th house. This is probably when she starts getting back on tour. Hopefully she doesn't do what she did last time, which was start on retrograde or retroshade. But this will be, looks like April, May, June, like maybe the end of April. She's doing something that's like, wow. It could be because Gemini is 2 times. This is a second attempt at her concert. So big time success here. Not the best fixed star to be on, but again, Mercury here, here's what she's going to have to deal with. Look at how the kings are over here, and look at how she's up here trying to do her thing. And you got the kings that are kind of pulling her down. Every time she she's trying to promote herself. You've got this T square in the same house, running through the same house. And so it's kind of like, yay. And it's like, oh, yay. And she's over and over and over again. And then she's just glad that the 11th house comes in. But here is probably the most tough month for her. That's going to be the 11th house. This is the future. This is your hopes and dreams, and Mercury's here. Mercury is hopes and dreams are shocked. So I would say this is between May, what did I say, 26, and June 26. That's when this is pretty heavy stuff. This is shocking, shocking news that's coming out. Mercury is the news. The moon is the newspapers. And there's something that's blowing up here. She'll be glad, I think, if the earlier she can start on that tour, the better. I know she planned it for summer, but if she could do it, or she's doing something where she's getting a lot of a spotlight, which is really, really good for her. But she's going to have to do it fast because look, there aren't that many days until boom, this T square moves and rears its ugly head. Yeah, I think because of the industry and wanting to keep your enemies close kind of thing. I think that's why. But Carmen, you said I'm surprised to see that J Lo and Diddy stayed friends after that shooting. So many photos of them together since then. I know. I know. She was even talking to him. I guess they went over to his house or something. It was her and the last boyfriend before Ben, that last fiance. What was his name? Not Jeter, the other one, Rodriguez. Ah, that could be what it is. Yes, the Vegas residency. I know. I know what you're laughing at, Christine, but I had to say it. I know. It's no fun, these midlife crises. I remember when I was in my 20s, I was like, midlife crisis, I'm never going to have a midlife crisis. There's no way. That's before I learned about sati sati. And it starts around 40-ish. So very tough. It's when you shed your skin. Carmen. And this is very interesting. You say this because I was thinking this as I was thinking about J Lo and how you kind of pay the piper. She got super famous with the Kings, but she had to hang around with the Kings. And so you're saying I always knew signing to Bad Boy was a curse if you ever wanted to earn money, but they made my favorite music. I know, they were the best at the time. hmm So you were up on stage with Snoop at 36. That's so cool. That's pretty young still, I think. Uh, Carmen, you said you're far from famous. I was in grad school, but can sing, so they courted me from Bad Boy. His A&R director left the drive in my car, the same as mine, but mine from school had my sticker on it. Oh, okay. Hmm. I know, Christine. You're surprised to do. It's so funny that you say that because it's like sometimes you encounter these evil people, and it's like you wonder if they're gonna have their karma sooner or later. And like half the time, it's much, much later. It's like they live a long time before things fall or things just, you don't necessarily root for them to fall, but you just want all of that stuff to stop. And Silver Girl, you said I have BML and Leo in the eighth house, and I have the Sun and Venus, Mercury and Pluto, all in Scorpio. I would say psychology studies, other people's money. And, let's see, Leo, this could be, it's the eighth house is important because it's the second house from the seventh. So if you keep, as an example, if you keep thinking you're going to be meeting some, you know, sugar daddy or whatever when you're in your 20s, if your second house doesn't look so good, you're not going to be getting that, or you will maybe meet somebody who you think is one who doesn't really have that much money. So it just depends. The eighth house is other people's money. I don't know why I'm even talking about that, but couldn't help it. Yeah. Okay. Oh shoot. You know what? I've got to go to a reading. So Gotta run, guys. But I'll be on tonight. And also keep in mind, I've got readings available at a discount for the holidays going through Friday, this Friday. So take a look. I am at astrologywithval.as.me. And I also have Amber's information up there too. So I hope that you can join me tonight. And Amber's going to be in the house with us. I've got a lot more coming this week, especially the solar return lessons. So make sure to hit the join button if you're interested, and you can see uninterrupted content. So thanks again, everybody, and see you soon.